Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Spayce, and welcome to the next episode of Urban Nerd Weekly, episode 9. Super Blood Blue Nerd. Wait, no, that's not the title. It's Super Blood Blue. Super Blood Blue Nerd Eclipse. Anyway, we're going to be talking about that. Elon Musk is selling flamethrowers, and we're going to talk about the winner of the longest standing gaming record on today's episode of Urban Nerd Weekly.
Hey, yo, Scratch Kids, the bell about to ring, man, let's go.
I'm a nerd. 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 I'm a geek. 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 I'm a nerd. Nerd. I'm a nerd. Geek. 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 I'm a geek. Nerd. I'm a nerd. Nerd. I'm a nerd. Geek. 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 I'm a geek. Nerd.
Like I said, man, welcome to this week's episode of Urban Nerd Weekly. Sorry for the delay. We done had some technical difficulties over here at Urban Nerd Weekly, but we are back up in this thing. We in this thing. Yeah. So, like I said, man, we're gonna be talking about some good stuff. First off, before I get into anything, I just want to remind everybody to, if you have not, head on over to spaycewuzhere.com, SPAYCEWUZHERE.com, and join the email list if you have not. Please do so. It's going to be right at the top of the website, and it's going to, like, right under the most recent episode of Urban Nerd Weekly. There's going to be a little space for you to put your email in, and then you hit enter, and that's it. And then every time there's a new update on spaycewuzhere.com, you'll get a little email. And at least one of those emails a week will be an episode of Urban Nerd Weekly. So you can definitely stay updated with the show straight like that. Now, let's get into the first thing that we're going to talk about. We're going to get into the moon in a little bit. But the first story on today's episode of Urban Nerd Weekly is the holder of the longest standing game record was stripped of his title today. Or not today. It's recently. Okay, so yeah. I don't know what day it was. I'm not gonna pretend. But it was between this episode and the last one. Yeah, but anyway. So in today's nerd news, like I said, longest standing video game record, stripped the title. I'm gonna try to give you guys this story as best as I can in chronological order. In 1982, a gamer by the name of Todd Rogers submitted to Activision's official fan newsletter a time of 5.51 seconds for the video game Dragster. They recognized it in print in the newsletter that Activision had. And by the way, if you're trying to figure out why the name Activision may sound a little bit more familiar but you can't put your finger on it. They're the ones that made. They still make a lot of video games today, and one of the most noted games is, of course, the Call of Duty franchise. So, like I said, submitted it to Activision. They recognized it in print, and they gave Todd Rogers a patch. And a video game company by the name of Twin Galaxies, a video game record keeper by the name of Twin Galaxies, which is also an official source for the Guinness Book of World Records, they added Todd Rogers to their leaderboards in 2001. Now, I want y'all to understand, by longest standing video game record, we talking about 35 years. He was stripped of the world record for finishing the video game Dragster that was on the Atari 2600 console. And after months of debate over his completion time and legitimacy, he was banned from participating in leaderboards as well as all other scores that had his name on it that were on the record books were removed. And this is after, in April 2017, the Guinness Book of World Records awarded him with the longest standing video game record in the first place. Well, it's actually the longest standing gaming record, period. Rogers never had proof, recorded or otherwise, of how he exactly got this particular time in the game, or how he finished it, he gave basically a regular old, explanation of what he said, but he pretty much, he offered an explanation on his website, but nothing further, and he stood by Activision certification as all the proof that he really needed. You know what I'm saying? So, after being, awarded this title officially in the Guinness Book of World Records, it kind of sparked a controversy on the forum for the Twin Galaxies website. In July 7, 2017, Twin Galaxies introduced a new process for disputing records, and Rogers' dragster time was one of the first scores challenged, like immediately. So, like, you can kind of tell the atmosphere of this guy's kind of created a bit of an uproar for the fact that he has this time and no proof, and it's a pretty old game. So a lot of people over the years have played this and still never beat this particular time. And I guess gamers, they get really frustrated when they can't attain a certain goal. It's very easy to start believing that either the computer's cheating or some other player is cheating after so many attempts to achieve a certain goal on video games. As any gamer could tell you, they've stayed up late nights playing certain games, and you end up frustrated as if it was something in real life, just because you can't, it's like a brick wall. You just keep running into it, So, excuse me. In August of 2017, several community members submitted Rogers' dragster time for review. Like I just said, they introduced this new process back in July for disputing records. And, this was something that was so big. There was 300 pages on the forum with almost 3,000 posts, with users believe that the dragster's time was technically impossible. That's how, to the point of question this guy's record was. The most notable skeptic was a forum member with the name OmniGamer. He wrote that he failed to reproduce the game time in a tool-assisted run, which made him analyze the game code. It basically forced him, he was like, okay, I gotta see what's going on. So he analyzes the game's code to determine that no one could hit that time without a serious amount of cheating. Basically this guy's saying, I cheated and I couldn't even get that scored. There's no way that this guy could have legitimately got it just playing the game and getting so good that he hit that time. I couldn't even beat that time in a fixed game where I had technology that allowed me to cheat. It's like having Game Shark and not being able to kill somebody on an older version of Grand Theft Auto. There's no way he could survive that without more cheating than I could be doing right now. And keep in mind, we're in the future and 35 years after this guy's done it, and still can't be reproduced with cheating technology. So, after all this, Twin Galaxies was kind of under pressure. And even though Activision stood behind Rogers' record, Twin Galaxies and Guinness Book of World Records no longer recognized it. And he was stripped of, like I said, he was stripped of the title, and all of his other scores were completely wiped off Twin Galaxies leaderboard, which is I'm getting the gist of this is that Twin Galaxies is like the aficionado of, leaderboard, video game leaderboards, or at some point was like the iTunes or something like that. I never really participated in the gaming leaderboard type thing. I always just kind of played video games in my house. I really didn't even get into online gaming until about 2014 maybe. So, I know I'm a bad nerd, but I'm a nerd of a lot of things. So I get behind on other stuff while I'm getting caught up on other stuff. I'm sure there's a lot of nerds out there that can relate. So the new fastest time in the Atari video game dragster is 5.57 seconds, set by several players, including the aforementioned OmniGamer, which it kind of makes you kind of wonder, what if this guy did accidentally hit this impossible to hit record just by playing the game and it glitched one day in a never repeatable moment, and And he could have held on to that. However, haters everywhere you go, somebody just had to, ruin it for him. Or did this guy really cheat however long ago, 35 years ago? Or maybe he never actually hit this time in Dragster. Maybe he was one of the first people to try to hit over a certain time, and maybe he hit like 5.57. Or what if it was worse? He hit 5.56 and then he exaggerated so much. He could have held on to the title if he had just said 5.6, but he said 5.1. I'm sorry, 5.6. 5.57. If he would have said 5.56, he might have been able to hold on to that lie forever. Or, what if that was his real time and he exaggerated, so much that it messed him up forever? That would enrage me to the point of screaming into a pillow every night before I went to sleep. However, no one ever will know, including Twin Galaxies. They even included this in the statement that they released, right after or prior to stripping him of the records, that they had no other choice because there was no technical proof, or there's just there's too much reasonable doubt, basically, of his record. So, had to take it. So either OmniGamer is an incredibly inflamed hater, or he stood up for the people who truly deserve the title of holding the record of this game and could have held this record for many years prior to this had his, lie not been told in the first place, if it was a lie. Like, I said, I don't actually know. No one knows but him, God, and his Atari 2600 console. And his copy of the video game Dragster. They are the only ones that know for sure. So either salute the OmniGamer or damn, stop snitching. Nah. But that is that nerd news story. Next, of course, the story that the episode is titled after, the Super Blue Blood Lunar Eclipse Moon. I said lunar and moon in the same. That's really the same thing. I don't know why I did that. I'm not even a grammar Nazi, but I don't like it to do that. Anyway, but what is the Super Blood Blue Moon? You may be wondering. It is a supermoon first, because it is one of the few instances where the moon is that close to the Earth, therefore making it appear larger than it normally is, and of course quite brighter. It's a blue moon because blue moon is the term given to the second full moon in a month. It's called a blood moon because it is a lunar eclipse. So the moon will take on a bit of a pinkish hue. Now, normally a blood moon would be quite red in nature. However, because I guess the level of an eclipse this is, it only turned a slight shade of pink. Now, I did stand outside in the cold and witness the moment. I went out about 5:45 a.m. Kind of stayed out there, and about 5:51, it kind of took on a bit of a pinkish hue, and it was a kind of a pinkish glow, if you want to say, looking like an aura around it. I mean, it would look pretty cool. I mean, you had to really be paying attention. But my name is Spayce for a reason. I look up at night. It's what I do a lot, and I definitely noticed a bit of a change. And I thought it was pretty cool. And a fun fact is that this event only occurs every 150 years. So this is one of those literal only once in a lifetime things. Now, I mentioned the time, 5:45 a.m. and 5:51. This was Eastern time. This podcast is recorded in Georgia, so of course we're on Eastern New York time. And that is about the time zone, if I'm not mistaken, that could witness the actual eclipse part of this event. So if you also got to check it out, make sure you guys leave a comment. You know what I mean? The show is available on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn, Blueberry, and many more places. And of course, as I said before, SpaceWasHere.com. And if you guys are listening from iTunes or Google Play, make sure you rate and review the show. So that way, it gets me up in the ranks. So a lot more guys like us and girls, I know I got some girl nerds out there that be listening to the show, it can have a little access to it, because when we get up in the rankings, more people will see the show. And if you're on all the other platforms, make sure you like and subscribe, of course, on all of them. And there's no review on those on like SoundCloud, YouTube, and such. But please leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think of the show. And of course, if you got to witness the lunar event, let me know about your experience. Everybody has cool stories about certain stuff. I'd be very interested to read in a future episode. Maybe some of you guys' stories about what happened when y'all was out, checking out the super blue blood moon. And, let me know what's up. I definitely, I had a really simple experience. I was still kind of at work and I was off the clock, and, I decided to just go on outside and check it out. And I thought it was pretty cool. Once in a lifetime event, by the time it happens again, unless technology advances and technology and medicine advances even more, I doubtful that I'll get another chance to see it. However, if I do, I'll definitely be bringing up this podcast episode to whatever future people are out there and be like, wow, can you believe it? But like I said, like, subscribe, comment, and or review on all the aforementioned services. Now, that was the moon junk. Now, I want to get into some more nerd news, because there has been a lot going on. First off, I don't think I could go any episode further of Urban Nerd Weekly without talking about one of the more famous nerds of our generation, which is Elon Musk. Now, a lot of people know who Elon Musk is, but for those of you who don't, he is the CEO of both SpaceX and Tesla Motors. Or he might actually be the CEO of Tesla, the corporation altogether. I should do more research on things before I say them in episodes, but a lot of people know who I'm talking about. So if I'm probably gonna talk about him again. I'll probably do a whole episode on Elon Musk. I don't know. I think he's a nerd of note. Maybe I'll do it in a little thing I like to do called nerd. I'm gonna have a little nerd extras coming up soon. So every now and then I'll drop a bonus, part episode, or maybe it may even be longer than the average episode. I don't know how I'm quite gonna do it yet, but definitely be having some nerd extras coming up, and I think I might do the first one on Elon Musk. However, he's done a lot in the field of technology from a very early age, in fact, and he's got a lot going on. But one thing I got to talk about is he's got some underground tunnel project in play, and in order to raise funds for it, he has decided he's going to sell flamethrowers. I did not read that wrong. I did not say that wrong. I did not make that up, because I checked everywhere I could. This man has decided he's going to sell flamethrowers. Now, I don't know if he actually believes the next part I'm about to say, which is, or if it's just a selling point, which is that in the case of a zombie apocalypse, a flamethrower would probably be one of your best bets as a weapon. This is not a joke. This is a quote, printed words, that he said out of his mouth hole about zombies. And this is not just something he's using for promo. There's actually pictures of the flamethrower. And then as of last week, there were 7,000 pre-orders for the flamethrower. Now, pre-orders mean that people have already paid money for this product and are awaiting its arrival upon its availability. And then, upon its availability, Sir Elon Musk sold 10,000 units of the flamethrower, which means people own fucking flamethrowers. Not only do people fucking own fucking flamethrowers, there is also a company rivaling this product that are selling their own flamethrowers. And the funny part is they're actually their selling point is actually some practical uses for a flamethrower, like, clearing land and, maybe self-defense against, people and such, and, some stuff you would probably think to use a flamethrower for. And here's the funny part. They want Elon Musk to buy their company. They don't even really want to sell the flamethrowers. They just want to create a rival product and get bought out. It's insane. But I want people to understand, because so much things are going on in the world right now. I don't feel like people are properly fucking losing their shit anymore about what is going on here. We have flamethrowers on the market, people. We got robots and shit about to be on the market. We're about to be, in 2 years' time, have the access to flying cars. And within 10 years, whether it's a flying car or it's a gas-powered road car, it's gonna drive itself. I don't know if anybody ever saw the Jetsons, but we're getting real fucking close to that shit, And I know a lot of people are like, yeah, but, all this stuff is happening and it's normal. It's not normal. When I was a kid, we used to joke about being able to see each other on the phone. Now we can see each other on the phone. We about to have robots on the regular. So regular, people about to be fucking them. People about to be fucking robots on the regular. News articles about this shit. We got flamethrowers ready for in case of a zombie apocalypse. Not to mention, we got robots, possible robot apocalypse. I mean, are we so numb to what's going on in the world that we just stop giving a fuck about what's going on in the world? And then on top of all that, we have all this shit advancing in technology. And what the fuck is going on in high school right now? Kids is eating Tidepods and shit. Now, this ain't no nerd news, urban nerd exclusive. I'm sure y'all done heard about kids eating the detergent pods that you use for laundry. And I think I also heard about some eating the ones that you use for dishes to quote unquote get high. And I say quote unquote get high because I can't even really start getting with and believing full wholeheartedly with my deep down soul that what they are doing, what they are feeling when they is eating motherfucking laundry pods is high. Error. 404. Page not found. I cannot compute. Why the fuck would you eat? You can't. What the? You couldn't even pay me to eat some shit like that. Jeez. I thought we had enough problems with the actual drugs of the world. Now people just trying anything. Just whatever. Let's next thing you know, people gonna be like smoking silverware or some shit. I don't know. Maybe that's why people don't give a fuck that we got flamethrowers. Maybe people happy we got flamethrowers. Maybe it's a lot of people that want to use flamethrowers so we can't fucking keep going forward in the future where motherfuckers is eating Tide Pods and shit. I know. I need to calm down. I know, man. It's just back when I was a kid, and I'm sounding old. I hate that I'm using that phrase. When I'm inching towards my late 20s and such. And yeah, it's just. But anyway, I remember we had the Say No to Drugs campaign in the 90s. And now we gotta actually say out loud to people, hey, don't eat the things that we use to clean laundry with. Now, I could understand if it was just like a bunch of nanny cam videos of like babies getting in the Tidepods with some shitty parents, and then this big scandal with child services come down on them and shit, and that's all over there. That would have made sense in my head. But deep in my soul, it fucks with me. These is kids that's old enough to make people. They old enough to make people, but they can't make the decision to not eat. And it's not even like peer pressure. These kids ain't like, you gotta do it so you can be cool with us. Like, nah, niggas just waking up on like a Saturday and shit. After watching, I guess, Teen Titans Go, 'cause that's the only thing I could think that would lower your IQ enough to be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna eat me some motherfucking Shut up. Stop it. You know what? That's it. I'm not even gonna talk about it, 'cause I hope I got this paranoia right now that somebody is gonna hear me talk about it and be like, oh, you know, that's not a bad idea. I ain't never tried that before. I bet that shit'll fuck your ass up. No. You know what? You know what'll fuck you up? Me, if I see you with my eyes in live person devouring a Tide-Pod. Now, in other news, a story that's been getting quite a bit of circulation, and you know, I read it a couple of weeks ago, and really I was so focused on all the things that I be trying to get on Urban Nerd Week, I kind of hit the fade on it, but it's gaining so much traction. I guess I just felt compelled to talk about it on this week's episode of Urban Nerd Weekly. You know what I'm saying? And if you've been following me on my social media, you probably done heard me talk about this and the flamethrower thing. You know what I'm saying? If you're not following me on social media, you gotta hit my Twitter, Facebook, my Instagram, and my Snapchat. Now, my Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram is all / Spayce was here. Much like the .com, which is my website, Spayce was here. SPAYCEWUZHERE. But my Snapchat is A1 Spayce. A1 SPAYCE. You feel me? Make sure you follow me on all of those little platforms. I always be having little random jokes I be throwing out. Plus, you know what I'm saying, you get a little breakdown of each episode of Urban Nerd Weekly. Plus, it also gives you guys a chance to support me. You know, the podcast is free. None of the content that I provide online do I charge for, nor have I began to really monetize anything. So, the support you guys show when you retweet and you play the show and you play it for friends, because you guys have definitely been showing so much love, and I do appreciate it. Those things like that help take me to a place where I can monetize without actually charging you guys any money. Unless, you know, you really, really want to support, then I'll have certain things in place that I do have on sale, because certain content I will have on sale. I will be selling in the future. We'll be selling merch in the future, but I'm not going to talk about that too much until I got all that in order. But I definitely do want to remind you guys about my parody tape, Snacking Off. It's coming up. So follow me on all of the social media in order to make sure you guys stay updated, as well as the website. But you have probably heard me, saw me tweeting about the Monique thing where she's upset with Netflix because, as we all know, Netflix has kind of become Comedy Central Junior when it comes to stand-up specials. Had a lot of big names dropping some fire projects. Definitely the 4 Dave Chappelle specials we got, all in a very short time period, so a lot of people are happy about that. Had Chris Rock special, Cat Williams special. A lot of comedians. You know, I'm naming a lot of black comedians, but you know, people like Neil Brandon. Sorry. I'm trying to think about the guy who did the one called Normal. He's hilarious. He does some great. He does a great show, and I'm so pissed that his name is escaping me right now. But now that makes me feel all guilty. Now I'm gonna have to do a whole nother episode about like some of my favorite comedians, just because I love giving comedians the credit. Like I want to talk about the ones that influenced me. You know, so that way when you guys, you know, because I also be doing stand up, and when I start dropping dates so you guys can come and see me, you guys kind of have an idea, you know, where my stand up comes from. So that way, you know, I don't want to be one of the people in my generation that doesn't really pay homage to all of the people that deserve it, you know, in the industry that they're in. And I'm not saying a lot of people do that in my generation, but we are accused of it quite a bit. We're either accused of completely stealing from the generation before us, or we don't pay homage to anybody, and our music or our content is, or whatever we do, comedy, singing, production, all of ours is less quality than theirs, blah, 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 blah. But we all know that Netflix has become one of the go-to places to check out stand-up comedy specials. And Monique, the comedian, one of the original queens of comedy, wanted to do I guess either she was interested or Netflix was interested. I didn't read specifically who pitched the idea to who. But I do know that, because she made sure everybody knew, that they only offered her $500,000 for her Netflix special. And she says only because lady comedian Amy Schumer got $13 million for her Netflix special. Now, we don't actually know, we at Urban Nerd Weekly don't actually know how much most comics are getting offered for their Netflix specials. However, I will say there is a huge gap between $500,000 and $13 million. Now, we got to take into account that Amy Schumer is pretty fucking hot at the time that she did her Netflix specials. You know what I mean? She had a lot of stuff going. She had the show on Comedy Central. She was in a couple of noted movies. You know what I'm saying? When you do something with the guy that has something to do with what is his name? I'm drawing blanks. I shoulda wrote it down because I know his name. I'm terrible right now. But anyway, she was hot right then. You know what I'm saying? And Not to mention, when you have a controversy going on in your career, you're never hotter than when French Montana said it best. You never hot until you got you ain't popping till you got haters. You know what I'm saying? And she had some haters, exposed her for joke theft, which side by side comparisons, if you ever seen them on YouTube, are very hard to argue with. However, I'm not gonna get into the legitimacy of those claims, true or false. However, I will say that $500,000 is a bit low for one of the original queens of comedy. I can understand if they kind of offer like $2 million versus the $13 million they gave Amy Schumer, but they offer $500,000. I mean, damn, you gotta give her at least more than what Interscope gave fucking Chief Keef and shit. You know what I'm saying? I feel like she earned a little bit more than that. You know, I ain't saying $13 million, but more than $500,000. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if I did, some shit online that got me a little bit big, and I did a handful of really cool tour dates, and got myself popping, and I went to Netflix in like December, was like, yeah, I want a special, and they offer me $500,000. Yeah, that's a come up. But for Monique, that's a little, I mean, that's my opinion. How, like I said, if you got a different opinion or you agree with me, make sure you leave that in the comments on the platform you're using, whether it's YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, or SpaceWasHere.com. And the blog post that the episodes are contained in, there's also a comment section, so you guys make sure you can hit that up if you got something to say about the subject at hand. Now, that is this week's episode of Urban Nerd Weekly. I know it so fast, like I feel it too, guys. okay, so I can't even focus on closing the show out because deep in my soul, I'm still thinking about the fact that motherfuckers is eating Tidepods. And I got little sisters and nephews and nieces and shit that are like just younger than the kids doing this shit. Like, I don't want the folks, I don't want my little peeps going to school with motherfuckers eating Tidepods and shit. I'm sorry. You know what I said? You know, like I said, man, you know, I gotta close the show out. But please, you know, I didn't do any Tune Junkie news this week. I'm definitely gonna have some more next week. However, everything that I do talk about in Tune Junkie will be responded upon in the upcoming podcast I got with my partner Leisha called In the Cut, that will be available on SoundCloud, Cloud Factory Audibles.wordpress.com. We have a radio station on there called 258 The Gate, where you will be able to in the future find even more podcasts, where this podcast will be available on as well. And like I said, we got In the Cut. It's a hip-hop based podcast. I'm sure anybody that's been riding with me since episode 1, Bienvenidos, well, has heard me talk about In the Cut. And we've been getting this show ready for quite some time, man. So I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy it. It allows me to have a fun for all of the Tune Junkie stuff, because sometimes I want to talk about music so much it would end up taking up the whole episode of Urban Nerd Weekly. So I tried to get a whole show just for that. And I got somebody that's in love with music as I am, as in love with music culture as I am, especially hip-hop culture. So make sure you guys check that out coming up. And also, I got a buddy named Von Roberts. You can check him out at vonroberts.com, spelled just like how it sounds. He has a brand new podcast called Keeping It G. It's available on SoundCloud and iTunes, so make sure... Oh, and it's also available on YouTube, just like Urban Nerd Weekly is, so make sure you guys check it out. Matter of fact, on the YouTube page, that you can find the link for that on spacewashere.com, and I also drop links for it all the time on my social media, so make sure you guys check that out. But there is a playlist on the Spayce YouTube page just for Urban Nerd Weekly, so you can literally get on there, press play, walk away. You ain't even got to worry about it. And also, if you have any of the smart speakers from Amazon and you have Alexa, then that means you already know about skills. I already told you guys about this around the Happy Nerd Year episode, or the either the Happy Nerd Year or the Merry Nerdmas episode of Urban Nerd Weekly, where I talked about I got an Echo Dot for Christmas, and you can listen to podcasts on there. Now, if you have one of these devices, you have to download something called a skill. And these are the things that allow Alexa to understand specific commands. Now, I advise everybody, because like I said, the podcast itself is available also on Spreaker. So if you're a Spreaker listener, make sure you check out Urban Nerd Weekly on there. If this is your first time checking it out and you're not on Spreaker, of course, which I can't imagine why you would be. However, if you're a Spreaker user, you already know that you can get Spreaker as a skill for Alexa. And the cool thing about it is you don't even need an account with Spreaker to listen to the show. So without even using your hands, you can just say, "Hey Alexa, open Spreaker."
Welcome back. To resume last played episode, Mary Nerdman's Vertical Bar, episode 4 Vertical Bar, Urban Nerd Weekly. Say, resume. To listen to something different, say, new this week. Or say...
And then all you have to say is play Urban Nerd Weekly. That's it.
I found some podcasts. First one is...
Now Alexa's in the background talking. That's why I keep pausing. Alexa's in the background talking now, because I forgot that she was behind me and she started responding to the command. So yeah, that's how you can listen to Urban Nerd Weekly right on your smart speaker. But I
found some podcasts. First one is Wells Adams and Brandy's...
Alexa, stop. I'm still getting it in order and everything. Hashtag nerd learning curve. Anyway, like I said, if you do have one, make sure you check it out. You don't even need an account. You just tell her what's up. and it'll start playing from the most recent episode, or you can tell it what episode you want to play. But that is all for this week's episode. My name is Spayce. This is Urban Nerd Weekly, and I was here, but now I'm